Please leave a message after the tone.
Yo, my name's Sean. I am in Minneapolis right now. It's weird, man. Like, I'm kind of like a mile away. I'm more in the residential areas. And I hear sirens. I don't really see a lot of shit going on. That high school where they were tear gassing people, they were arresting teachers that were illegal immigrants. There were fucking teachers there that were illegal immigrants, and they're arresting the teachers, and, you know, they tear gas people. People are chimping out. I played that high school in football, and we beat them. Like, this shit is right in my backyard. During the 2020 riots, that Target that got burnt down, that's on Lake Street, and there's a light rail station right there, and I was walking back, and I saw the light rail pull up, and I'm like, oh, shit, I got to run and catch the light rail. There's like 6 flights of stairs, so I sprinted up. I'm in good shape, so I sprinted up there, got on. You know, I'm chilling in the light rail, and I'm catching my breath, and I look over to the right, and there's literally black Hebrew Israelites, like, crawling up the fucking stairs out of breath, trying to catch me, and they were going to beat the shit out of me and rob me. Like, this is Minneapolis, dude. Like, it's a dystopian nightmare beyond comprehension. Like, you guys don't understand. It's like concentrated Portland. It's a smaller, just as liberal Portland. Lesbians everywhere, dude. Fucking all the young people here are hardcore leftists. Every teacher is hardcore leftist. I heard about gay marriage and shit like that in 2nd grade. You know, and I'm 34, so...
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
All right, nice. Welcome to episode 148 of The Abuse Hour. It is I, your host, Coffee Long, coming to you unsupervised, unmedicated, and an unchecked threat to society. I am rolling hard in the Mobile Doomsday Studio, presently just about to run over dirty-ass landscapers. Man, I thought, you know, I don't know. I moved out of California, and you don't expect to see quite so much of them because they're like everything, any like service type job is Mexican owned and operated. And you leave there and like the first time I saw a white dude running a leaf blower, I was gonna lose my fucking mind. But it's been just a couple years, and now apparently that's like, you know, it's right back to the old norm. It's like a fucking virus, dude. It really is. Like, it just fucking spreads. It's no good. Anyway, with that, so much going on, so much fun. What a hoot. Some of the stuff I wanted to talk about. I was going to make a proper list. I didn't make a proper list, but I kind of got it in my head anyway. And that is, in light of all the recent talk, and there is a lot of recent talk going on lately with these leftards about fucking Civil War, bro. I just came from the fucking range, bro. I'm going fucking hot. You're gonna find the fuck out. Okay. I mean, for my money, it's a lot of bullshit, and it's a lot of, you know, some of these women, dude, the women that you see talking this shit, motherfucker, you're not doing nothing. But I'll tell you what, well, I'll get to that, dude, because I saw a post this morning, and it was something that we all kind of knew, but it was something that kind of plays on other, like, no shit science that I think readily applies. The idea that there's a lot of NPCs out there just running wild, doing whatever the fuck they're told, and it's like a Dunning-Kruger kind of a thing that they don't even know what they don't know, and sometimes they just get lucky because the world is full of dangerous fucking amateurs. But before we get to that, there was some talk in the chat the other day, and if you're not on the chat, you really ought to be. Oh, and two, like, I guess this is the way I'm going to do things now. Because I tried for a little while, I'm going to make like a solid professional, like predictable, like, oh, this is the part of the podcast when he does this shit and does that shit. And I'll do it like this and like so. And like, have all the fucking bells and whistles. And I'll try not to say fuck so much. And I'll have all the shout outs and I'll put them in the right place. And I'll advertise the Above Time Coffee and all this stuff, man. And have like some periodic, input from other people and stuff. And I'll put all the things in all the right places. And I'll put it on my YouTube. And I even did this thing. I looked like I know shit looked. And I honestly, I realized that like this is not the best show ever. This is not the coolest fucking podcast ever to walk the earth. But it also doesn't fucking suck. And I'm also not a black chick. And I'm also not just saying wazoo shit into the fucking void about we was kangs and built on the back of immigrant labor and everybody illegal on stolen land and shit. So when I look at the numbers, man, I'm like, God damn, dude, like who the fuck is hiding this thing? So I'll go and look for my own podcast, like as me in real life, and I'll see like I can't fucking find it, dude. Like I gotta legit type it in, like just so, and it'll be like, oh, you mean this one? Like way down here? Oh, okay, well I guess if you want that, yeah, okay, yeah, you could have, like, is there other abuse hours out there? No, there's not. There's only this one. And yet impossible to find. So I did this thing, man, when I made a legit effort to try to make this thing go. And I did this thing where I looked up a couple videos, like, how do you fucking really like market this shit and really launch this shit out? And this was one guy has this idea where he's like, here's what you do is you like whatever your fucking description is, like on the YouTube, right? That's got so many characters that you're allowed to use, right? So put a lot, right? Like write a lot, because maybe somebody's searching, and if you just put like, I say abuse hour, weird jackass rants about things he doesn't know about. Nobody's gonna, unless somebody looks for exactly that, they're not gonna fucking find it. So write a lot. Like, what are you talking about in this episode? What are you saying? What are you mentioning? Like, get a lot of fucking words in there. It's like the fucking essay question in school. Like I don't have any idea, but if I write enough, I'm going to fucking get something. I'm going to be in the neighborhood and you give me a few points. That's all I need. So I tried that, right? And then the guy goes on and like, okay, this is the amount of words that you could say in here. So now trim that down a little. So it's, like a fourth of the amount of characters or words or whatever you could say in the description. And now translate that shit into other languages, like the most likely languages that you think somebody might listen to on this video or this podcast or whatever. And now, like, translate that shit. Go to, like, Google Translate and, like, say you're going to put it in fucking Spanish. Translate all the shit you just wrote into Spanish. Put that in the description as well. So now somebody's typing in Spanish, like, el asshole, quien hablar sobre los bullshit. Now they're going to find you. And they're like, what's this? And now they're going to see what you have to fucking say. And then when you're done to that, you go and you enable subtitles. But now you have to specifically enable. Like, yeah, I want subtitles in, whatever, fucking Serbian or fucking Spanish, whatever. I want, Spanish speakers or Serbian speakers to be able to click this. And when they find my description, they click on this and it's spitting it out in subtitles. Right? So now you could sit there in your barber shop or your Mexican auto repair muffler shop or whatever the fuck, and you can like watch the Abuse Hour video. You watch it and see the fucking subtitles. And hey, where did you learn to speak English? Oh, I learned from watching this asshole on his video, and he doesn't like me so much, but it's okay. So I'm like, yeah, I'll fucking try it out, man. I did this, and like, no fucking change. Like legit, I will bet that you could put like an AI-generated video of a cat chasing a fucking ball or something, and it will get more clicks, more views, whatever, than whatever I fucking put out. Maybe that's, well, no, because I try to do that too. I try to do like an AI generated video where it would be like, the Coffee Long character, the fucking Team Fortress spy dude, and like talking like a newscast or something. So it would be like a bastardized Nick Fuentes or something. I could put like Thunderdome or some kind of shit behind him. And I found like these services that'll generate these videos and this kind of shit. But then it's like, yeah, bro, we can do videos up to like 5 minutes. I'm like, 5 fucking minutes? I'm not cutting pasting no fucking 60 minutes worth of bullshit just to get, a knockoff Nick Fuentes on my fucking thing. This is stupid. So I just fucking left it, and it's like, yeah, no, dude, you're going to get like 17 fucking views. So whatever, I don't give a shit, because the way I think of it is that, like, if I talk to like two dudes hear this and they're like, this is serious fucking shit, and they can go out there and each of them talk to like 5 people somewhere in real life, and they're like, I heard this idea the other day. If those people talk to 5 people and even a handful of them are like, yeah, I heard this great idea, then great, I'm doing good work. I'll take it. It's the best I could fucking do. Short of, I don't fucking know what. Short of running for office and getting thrown in the trunk of a Subaru. I don't know. Anyways. Yeah, real quick then, on the admin type notes, this deal, you leave it wherever you want, man. This content is available wherever dodgy content is pervade. Your Apple, your whatever the hell, iTunes, the Spotify, the audio and a fake weird video is on YouTube still, whatever. You could check it out, send it to your friends, send it anonymously. That would be hilarious. Like, send it anonymously, like to your father-in-law or something. Hilarious, good times. Anyways, if you want to support, you want to kick down $5 or whatever, there's a link there. Buy coffee, a coffee type thing. You can join the Abuse Hour Goon Squad, $5 whole a month, whatever. If you want to kick in, I don't care. But other than that, if you want to do a solid, I don't get sponsored by them. I just pimp for them. Above Time Coffee, it's a product made by white people for white people. Put it in a cup, put it in your mouth. It's for you. And right, on with the show then. So we were talking in the chat, and one of the dudes had brought up that he went to a strip club the other night. Now, look, man, I know this is a national socialist scene, and we steer away from the degeneracy, and we try to run a tight ship and this kind of thing. I'll tell you something, though. Like, a lot of us do come from a past where, like, yeah, I did a lot of shit that I wouldn't recommend somebody go and do. And the other half of that, I guess, is that, like, me not going to a strip club is not going to make some chick not be a stripper. And I don't know. I haven't been to a strip club in a long time. I don't know. I imagine clearly they are still out there. Somebody just went to one. But, I mean, I don't think they're as prevalent as, like, your OnlyFans. Now, it seems like everything has been, like, offshored. Everything fucking sucks. Like, I remember back in the day when you used to actually go out into public to meet people and to talk to people, to talk to women. And you could just roll right up to them and, like, hey, goddamn, you look fine. What's your name? Who are you here with? Yeah. You used to be able to pull this shit. You used to go to strip clubs, and, I knew dudes, like, back in the day. I knew one dude that he was a little bit pudgy, and he would always work out like a motherfucker. And he's like, man, you know why I work out so hard? I'm like, I don't really care, but you can tell me if you want. He's like, nah, bro, I work out so hard so that I could still go out to the bar and drink a lot of beer and talk shit to a lot of bitches, and I won't be fat. So I got to work out hard, dude, because there's nothing worse than going out and then you scratch and you go home by yourself. And I'm like, you fucking scratch. That sucks, dude. But this is how life used to be, man. Like, you could go out there and you could, like, hey. And it was wild. Like, you didn't, I guess there wasn't so much the feeling, even with these women, that she's thinking, it is a valid concern, but they're not thinking like, I bring this cat home or I go home with this dude and I end up, stuffed in a fucking suitcase or some kind of thing, something fucking crazy, right? This was, there's some screening involved, and they're going to tell their friend where they're going as though that's going to fucking help. But my friend knows I'm going with you, and, like, I'm going to call her. She expects me to call her. Okay. And, like, what if you didn't, though? Then what? Then she's just going to call the cops and say my friend didn't call. I don't know. I guess fucking whatever. But I do remember noticing that when I got down to Australia once, that it was markedly more relaxed because, like, I haven't been to Australia in a very long time. But even then, you'd go out and you'd notice it was markedly a more white society than what you have in the States. And you'd be hanging out someplace. I remember I was hanging out there in Perth, which was pretty fucking cool. Aussies, I generally like. Since this, the COVID thing went down, it does seem like there's a definite pussification, where there's a lot of this talk about, well, you got to have all your guns, mate. What's with all the guns? It's a lot of violence, mate. And like, dude, you don't have coloreds like we have coloreds. So shut the fuck up, go back to your fucking COVID cell, and keep the fucking racket down. But I do remember, though, that it was a much whiter society. So we'd be out, and we'd be at some bar, some club, or some shit, and you're hanging out. And these people, like, these motherfuckers drink, dude. And you could go to the club or the bar or whatever at 18. So just like in the States where the good-looking girls are getting in, like you got to be 21 in the States, but the good-looking girls are getting in there at 19, 20, and so on, because there's going to be some bouncers like, yeah, just come on. So in fucking Australia, you got to be 18. What do you think's fucking happening? There's like 17-year-old, 16-year-old girls getting into the fucking bar. It's a very drinking culture. They're always out. So you be at these places, and it would be like the early place. And mind you, this is when I was, in the scene, and it was like that's also a very drinking culture. So we're in Australia, and it's like, yeah, what's the spot tonight? It's this place. You go here, you get something to eat, and then everybody's starting here, wherever. So you go to whatever bar it is, you hang out a while, but now everybody's going to migrate to like some other. There was a place, it was called The Clink, and it was like the theme was like it's this fake jailhouse thing, like not super LARPy, like some gay Hollywood shit or some shit. But it was just what it's fucking called. It's called The Clink, and the little logo was like a guy, like a old school cartoon guy with like the big jaw and the little hat, like he's in jail, and he's got like the ball and chain on his leg. He's like he's in fucking jail, And the deal in this place was they played all 80s music, which, for the time wasn't that long ago, but it was like still long enough ago where you could be like, this is great. This is kind of cool. So you're listening to these 80s tunes, hanging out. So the deal was here, we're at this place, and I'm talking to this girl, and she goes, hey, we're all going to The Clink. And I'm like, the fucking what? She's like, The Clink, it's this. She tells me about the place. So are you guys going over there? We're like, I guess. I don't know. She's like, you could ride with me if you want. I'm like, ride with you? I'm like, all right, I guess. So she's already drinking. She's going to go get in the car. We're going to fucking drive. So me, obviously, trusting soul, still young and stupid, going to get in the car with a woman that's been drinking to go for a drive. Well, I've never been that bright. Anyway, so we go get in the car, and she's like, I've got to stop by my flat first. I'm like, you got to do what now? I got to stop by my flat. And she's got to stop by her fucking apartment, right? Because they do that British thing where it's your fucking flat, whatever. And you got a flatmate that doesn't take out the rubbish, whatever the fuck. So now here, this is where I got a little bit freaked out. I'm like, you're cool with like, we're going to go by your apartment? Like, I just fucking met you. We're going by your apartment, and you're not worried I'm going to like axe murder you or something? I like said this to her. I'm like, you're not fucking worried that I'm going to like axe murder you? She's like, no, are you? I'm like, well, no, but it's just fucking weird. Like, people in the States don't do this shit. And she looked at me like, where the fuck you been living? I'm like, what? I live in a dangerous fucking place, man. And now, I mean, this was more than a decade ago. And how much safer is it now, right? Anyway, yeah, it was the fakest of times. It was the gayest of times. But anyways, I digress, man. That was a long time ago. But now I don't know if people stick strictly to, I sit at the house and I date efficiently. I get on Tinder. I go out. I bang out some chick that's probably a legit prostitute. I give her $100, to help her with her car insurance that she says she needs help with or some bullshit. And then I go home and do the same thing tomorrow, whatever. I don't fucking know. But in the day, yeah, people used to go and they hung out. And one of the places that we always used to hang out was a strip club. So the deal on this, like I came in, like my introduction to like the military culture was, it was still pretty early. Like really, I was only 18, 19 when I got, sort of introduced to a lot of this shit. So as far as I knew, it seemed a little weird, I guess. I mean, everything seemed a little weird at the time because you're fucking 18. What do you know about any fucking thing? But when you get introduced to this shit, you're thinking like, I go in here and there's some chick up here. She gets naked. She comes around. You give her $1 and you continue drinking. And is this cool? I guess it's cool. Nobody's fucking saying nothing. I guess this is what people do, right? Sort of. It's a little bit fucking goofy. But the way that it panned out was when I first got into the special operations scene, and this was like normal military shit in the early 90s and the 80s and shit. Like, this is just how people behaved. But when I first got into the scene, then it was like, hey, it's lunch, we're going to the strip club. And I'm like, we're going to a strip club at fucking noon? Like, this is weird. This is weird. All right. All this other shit, a little odd maybe, but this officially weird. All right. But no, this is what you're fucking doing. So you go out here and you're going to have these broke ass chicken strips, like just some horrible shit food. And like, the food sucks and the drinks are expensive, but at least, you know, what is this? I got this chick covered in glitter coming around asking me for $1 at a shot. I don't actually know. I wonder if strippers still get paid in dollars. Because, I mean, what the fuck are you going to do with $1? Like, you're going to have to really bust ass in here, you know, to make this worth anybody's while. But then again, it's not like women are really known for their sound financial decisions. As it was, man, that just became kind of a thing. And I really thought that it was just the dudes that I worked with, that like, these dudes are just all about strip clubs. This is just the way that it is. It is not. That is not the case. And I noticed that in different communities, it's not quite the same. But I do notice that kind of the higher on the food chain you get, and you can call this whatever you want, for better or for fucking worse, but like the higher on the food chain you would go, the more time you spend in places like this. And I got some thoughts about this, but it really was like this. So the more I was around, you know, after I did my whole fucking career in this scene, it's like fucking strip clubs. Yeah, dude, you're going to spend time in fucking strip clubs. Hey, you guys want to go to a fucking strip club? Yeah, all right, no big deal. But I kind of think, you know, in retrospect, kind of my thinking about it is that this is like the land of broken toys, because it really is. It's not just that dudes like going in there. I mean, it's a little bit cool in a way, insofar as it's like a microcosm of how everything works. Like, I'm only really in here to look at some hot girls. I'm not in here for fucking sparkling conversation. I'm not in here for the great drinks, because the drinks you make here chug nuts. Everything's fucking expensive. But it is like a little microcosm of how everything works. I'm in here to look at some hot ass. You're in here to take my dollars from me, or to try to anyway, and we'll get to that. But it's like, it's like the land of broken toys. Like, none of these girls are in here because they have their shit together. And the last thing because I've seen this too, the last fucking thing you want to do, man, is try to straighten one of these broads out and like, oh man, you don't got to do this. You know, you could be somebody, you could go to college or some shit. And like, what the fuck is this Captain Save-A-Ho shit? Because on one hand, and I had to give this some thought, is like, because I remember having thought the same thing as well at the time. Like, God damn, she's good looking and she seems kind of smart. What the fuck you doing in here? What the fuck is this? You know? I guess the thing is that, like, say you're some chick at some strip club and now some guy is talking to you about, oh, you don't got to do this, baby. You know, live a good life, be an honorable woman or some shit. If you're some good dude, if you're some good guy, well, then what the fuck are you doing in here? If this is sound advice from a good dude, what the fuck are you doing in a fucking strip club handing out good advice? What the fuck is this, you know? But if you're just some shitbag dude hanging out in a strip club, as you do, well, then who the fuck are you to be giving out advice anyway? So it's really like a conundrum of like, just keep your fucking mouth shut. None of this has to concern you. Like, this chick made her decision. She's in here by hook or by crook. As I understand it, most of these girls, they've got some kind of a sexual abuse history that kind of stunted their emotional growth. Maybe that's from a situation they put themselves in. Maybe it's from some kind of situation that was put upon them. It is what it is, man. I'm not the Pope. I can't undo any of this shit. But it does seem to be the case. And for as wacky as it sounds, I'll tell you what, dude, going to lunch at the strip club, you do see, like, this is where the new girls start. So, like, the broads you see when you're going, if you're going at, like, you know, Saturday night, Friday night, this is fucking A squad. Because this is, like, the spots that girls are fucking working for. This is the spot that, like, the ownership, I want the hot girls in here. I want money fucking flowing. I want people lining up. Fucking 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you know, fucking noon on a Wednesday. Nobody's lining up for that shit. They're going to give you free shit just to show up and, you know, get a taste for the place. However, the comedy comes in when this is where new girls come in and are going to learn this shit. And there is definitely a level of hazing with these broads. Like, you think fucking dudes are vicious? Like, I did an episode on hazing. And yeah, dudes are fucking vicious, man. But these broads are fucking unsavory, man. I mean, they're fucking smacking this chick. They're throwing shit at her. This chick is up there. She sucks. You know, obviously, she's never done this before. You've never fucking done this a day in your life. You're up here ass naked in front of fucking strangers. And now you got this row of bitches up here throwing ice cubes at you, calling you a fat fuck, calling you a cow, calling you all this kind of shit. We're like, what the fuck is going on? And they're like, she's new. She doesn't know what the fuck she's doing yet. But it's whatever, man. It's a barrel of laughs. But I guess the thing is that, like I was saying, it's like the land of broken toys, though. All these girls got something wrong with them, and that was sort of what made us fit in with them. And it took me a while to get my head around the idea that, like, hey, motherfucker, when we're talking about land of broken toys, like, that's you too, shithead. Like, especially, you know, you walk in here thinking you're good to go, dude. That's like, you got more wrong with you than probably anybody else because you're not grasping the situation as it is. And I thought about that for a while because when I showed up to this thing, like, I didn't have a rough upbringing, man. My parents gave a fuck. My parents stayed together. I wasn't poor. I wasn't abused. I didn't have a drug problem. I didn't get picked on by gangs. None of this shit. I didn't have any of this shit to deal with. I had a good upbringing. However, it became like this, how can you say, like, not really crisis, but this kind of an identity, like, what the fuck am I doing here, you know? Because I came in with this idea, you know, as much of an idea as you can have when you're that young. They're like, man, I'm in here for America, bro. And, you know, the recruiter and all the fucking advertising and everything you hear is like, America needs you, bro. America has enemies, bro. And America needs protection, bro. And if you got the tools to do the job, well, then we need you. And if you got the fucking balls to come in here and go extra fucking hard and really sacrifice a little something, then you just might be able to make it into this scene where only the hardest of the hard and the most capable of the capable are going to be able to get down. And I was like, well, that's me, man. I'll fucking try. I'll fucking put my back into it. So I went in there, man, red, white, and blue patriotard, dude, and I gave it my fucking all, and I sacrificed fucking everything. I put everything second to this shit. Fucking family, personal interests, money, all this shit. I don't need none of it. I'm doing this shit. And I got in there, and I got through it, and then when I showed up to the scene, and it's like, you're this fucking chump, and like, what are you doing? Like, what's our job today? Well, the boss needs a promotion. So there's going to be like some Senate staffers coming around. And the boss wants to get in good, you know, some kind of setup for this next deployment. So you're going to go do this joint exercise with these other motherfuckers. Only they're going to take the main building. You're going to live in a fucking tent. It's going to be miserable. But we're going to save on funding and make a good impression that we can operate with a smaller footprint. And that is going to help the boss. And so, you know, you do this shit, and then even when you go to fucking war, it's like, all right, man, are we out here fighting fucking evil? No, dude, you're not fighting fucking evil. You're a fucking henchman. And I said this to this guy, man. There was this new guy that we had with, and this fucking guy, I mean, he was like, this asshole actually ended up going on to the agency later, like a real silver spoon motherfucker. Like a lot of guys, they'll tell you their story, like where you from, what'd you do, and you hear some interesting shit. This fucking asshole really wouldn't talk about it. All anybody knew was he came from fucking money. I still don't know what kind of money. I know that he came from a fairly prominent family, just judging by his last name. But this motherfucker, he came from fucking money. And you know how you can fucking sense it. If you have money, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know how it is when you meet poors as compared to other people of means. And if you're poor or an average person, you know, like me, or especially in the military, you're just some fucking nug, then you know what it's like when you meet one of these silver spoon motherfuckers and they have their expectations and you're like, you're not quite like us, are you? So, you know, you kind of recognize this shit. And this fucking guy, we're out doing some shady shit in the middle of the night. And the deal was here, we just kind of sit and wait. And then when management calls and they say, go fucking get that guy, then you go over there, right? But you're doing this like night after night after night. You're waiting for different groups of people and shit. So we're all sitting there and we're waiting, and guys are talking about like your little origin story and shit. And this guy's talking about, I was actually looking at going to seminary to be a priest. And everybody's like, what the fuck? And he's fucking new too, right? So everybody's like, what? You're going to be a priest? He's like, yeah. I'm like, how the hell do you go from being a priest to now you're doing this? And he's like, what? It's not that far off if you think about it. I'm like, I'm thinking about it, and it still seems far off to me. So why don't you explain? He's like, look, dude, I'm out here, I'm putting myself second. I'm following my faith. I'm fighting evil. I'm like, evil? I said, dude, we're out here in the middle of the night wearing all black, beating the shit out of guys who can't afford shoes. You think you're fighting fucking evil? And he's like, gets this long face and looks at everybody else, and everybody else is like, yeah, what the fuck do you want? What did you think you were doing? Like, you're a fucking henchman. Like, you're just out here beating guys up for big corporate money, for big Jew. That's all you're out here for. That was just kind of how it went, man. And like guys would show up and they'd have that pep in their step. And that was, I think, one of the things that really pissed guys off about new guys is like you hate seeing a dream get crushed, but you're also seeing what you used to be. You're used to, you're seeing that light that used to be in your eyes. And you're fucking angry because you've been fucking snuffed. And now you see this guy and you're like, you motherfucker, you don't even know any better. You don't even know what you're stepping into. And I don't know, how you would color it, but you become part of the mechanism now where you just come over and like just snuff it out. Like you're one of us now, you fucking turd. Land of broken toys. But I think that's part of it. When you go to the strip club, that's part of this magnetism between operators and strippers. And there is, goddamn guaranteed a fucking magnetism that like you see them and they see you and like vup. So I knew lots of dudes that married strippers. I knew lots of dudes that dated strippers. I didn't date maybe one I kind of halfway dated because probably it was me and probably lots of other guys dating her too. But yeah, one girl that I saw a little bit off and on, and then two other girls that I had kind of hooked up with a little bit. But dude, I will tell you, man, they are emotionally stunted. And some of the best advice I got for dealing with strippers was that you don't give them money, ever. You never put money in their hand because there are only two men in a stripper's life. There is the dude who gives her money, and there is the dude who takes her money. So all of them will have, just like that movie Casino. Yeah, where that Sharon Stone character, she's got James Woods, stylish motherfucker, and he plays this, what the fuck was that guy's name? Like Leon, or was it Leon? Something like that, dude. But he's this fucking greasy motherfucker, and she cannot get enough, dude. He is this fucking wounded deer, but still like a real slick fuck. And every time, dude, she's calling him and she's fucking, oh, what's up, baby? I miss you so much. They're all this way though. And they all have some dude that's like this that they cannot resist because their little feminine wiles do not work on him. So they see it as like, oh, he's like my equal. He's like someone I could, like a father figure I could look up to, like the one guy that's not trying to put something in my ass or something, And the way they kind of interpret that is through the money, because every dude that comes in there is like, holy shit, she's hot, I want to bang her, here's money. And they're like, fucking chump. But so the deal is then, and I learned this from dudes who learned it from other dudes, and it was like gospel. And if you have some girl, you go in there and you're talking to her or whatever, you just don't give them money. And you ain't got to explain it. You're just hanging out. Like, yeah, I'm just hanging out with my friends, man. It's no big deal. Well, did you see me dance? I wasn't really looking. Maybe I'll watch you next time. I don't know. I'm just really hanging out here. You probably got to go to work, though, so why don't you get your ass out of here, go dance again, and then come back after. It'd be cool to talk to you. Or don't, whatever. And they will come back just for the conversation. And it's fucking weird, but it is how it works. One time, there was actually this stripper that I was like, dude, she is fucking hot. And she was kind of digging it. She was digging the coffee, and I was like, I got to not fuck this up, dude. So I'm talking it. And I'm not being nice. I'm being kind of a dick because that is kind of what works. But I'm talking to her, and then I wanted another drink, and she's like, oh, I can get it for you. I'm like, all right, sweet. And I handed her like, whatever, I don't know, fucking $5 or $10 or some shit. And it was like the second the currency touched her hand, I could see the interest just drain out of her. I'm like, no, that's not for you, no. And she turns around and like walks off with this money and comes back with this drink and all the change and then just left. And it was like, shit. It really is. It's like some kind of magic trick or something. Like the second you put your money in their hand or, their fucking G-string or whatever, the interest just fucking evaporates. Like, God damn it. It just fucked it all up. But, yeah, man, some of the wacky shit that goes on, like you wouldn't, like, I don't know. I think generally you get this idea that like it's a place where it's very rigid and very controlled and you go in there and you sit still and you watch them shake their ass. They come around, you hand them money and then you drink your overpriced drink quietly and you go away. This is not the way that this actually operates. That's like, I don't know, maybe like for some slick fuck that's used to dealing with used cars or something, like this is like the chump model. Like you go in here and like you can get loaded up, like get fucked up in the parking lot if you want. Go in here and sip something. But you just don't fucking tip, man. And don't sit at that fucking stage. This is for losers, dude. This is for chumps. Sit way the fuck in the back somewhere like you're conspiring on an assassination or a bank robbery or some shit. Do not sit up there where they can see you. All this shit sounds counterintuitive and weird, but this does actually make it entertaining. They will come and find you, and they'll want to know what the fuck you're up to back here. When they come back here and find you, like we used to make like a science of this shit. Like you get them situated where you're kind of sitting, if you can, in like a corner or at least with your back to a wall. And now you get them sat over here, and maybe they sit on your lap, maybe they don't. A lot of them will do this shit. But if they're just sitting in a chair or in a little booth or whatever, if they're looking at you and the wall, like you can't see shit else. You're not looking out here, not looking for your friends, not looking for when you're up next, not looking for anything else. You sit here and you look at me. That's all there is. And now the pickup artist scene, I can't remember who it is in the chat that had some of this shit, but there are stacks. And it's like it's old enough at this point that these broads will have never heard of it. But like the pickup artist dudes used to call this chick crack because it is like crack cocaine to these broads, dude. Anything. Like little personality tests that you remember reading in a magazine on a flight you were on. Or I had this one that I would do where I would say that like wherever I am, dude, if I'm on the East Coast, it's when I was flying from the West Coast. From the West Coast, when I was flying from the East Coast. And I'll say that I was sitting next to some Jamaican woman the whole way that taught me the ins and outs of palm reading. And man, if you like spend like 5 minutes on like AI to get some generalized bullshit, and they will think this is the coolest fucking thing they have ever seen in their life. They will go get other strippers to bring to you so that you can give them a palm reading. Now, you got to have something that loosely resembles some semi-interesting shit to say. But what you can do, and this is like a cheap interrogation trick. So, like, you make a general observation about them. You can just fucking look at them, right? Like, what the fuck are they? Are they fucking Mexican? Are they tall? Are they short? Are they chubby? What kind of giant plastic Lego shoes are they fucking wearing? Do they got designs all over them? Are they like a goth girl type thing? You can make a fucking some very general assumptions about their personality. Like some kind of this, but also kind of that. So kind of big, but also kind of small, but kind of reserved, but also kind of crazy, like with a wild side, and kind of an outgoing person, but you only have a small group of friends. Like really lame, shitty generalizations. But what you do then, here's like the cheese dick part, is like you're identifying this shit, according to you, because I'm seeing it in the lines on your hand and the lines in your face. And, now that I look, that kind of goes right along with what I see in your stupid outfit or the way you have your hair colored or the beret or your costume or your big goofy Lego shoes or whatever. And it'll be like, in their mind, it comes across as like something you noticed and then, oh yeah, and it's backed up by something you have on that I only just now noticed. And they're like, wow, this guy's fucking amazing. And I guess what's hilarious then is that if you make it something complimentary, they're going to want that shit to be true. And so now when you present it as like, this is something that I see because I'm like fucking magical palm reader guy, plus what I see you presenting with that I only just now noticed, In their mind, it is the gospel fucking truth. And then, like, the shady part of this is you can kind of steer it into a sexually interested in only just me type idea, which, you know, again, like, you're letting this broad's brain do the work for you. But other than that, though, man, like, there's so much weird shit. I mean, and I've spent enough time in these fucking places. And we were talking about one of the spots in the chat, this place that was because it's closed, outside of, I think it's outside of Memphis, called Platinum Plus. And this place, so like they call it the Bible Belt, right? In the South, where like, you know, you can't buy liquor on Sundays and this kind of shit, and everybody goes to church and so on. But dude, this place, it's like the Costco of strippers. It's nuts. It's the biggest fucking place I've ever been in. The biggest, probably one of the larger bars I've ever been in, period. But definitely the biggest strip club I've ever been in. And you go in here and there's like one giant main stage, and then there's all these small stages. There's got to be like, well, it was like 5 or 6 smaller stages like all around the fucking building, around the inside of this fucking thing. And there were women fucking everywhere, like shit tons of strippers. And there's dudes cruising around, but then there's also shit tons of chick customers. Like girls come in here because it's fucking nuts. So it's like you could see where it would be a good time. But what ends up happening is that these girls will get liquored up, and they'll be up there like throwing dollars at these strippers. And the next thing you know, one of these strippers will pull one of these girls up onto the stage with them, and they're pulling their shirts off, they're pulling their pants down, all this crazy shit. So there's all kinds of crazy girl-on-girl action going on up here, like right on the stage in front of God and everybody. And people are cheering and going nuts. It's fucking insane, this place. I don't know, interesting side note, I pulled 2 different girls out of this place. One, I ended up writing back and forth with, like staying in touch with for a while. And the other, this is super fucking nutty. I hook up with this girl, right? And you never know how this is going to go because it's like you're sealing the deal, but she's got to close up shop and going back and get her little rolling bag. And now they're like, wait outside and I'll be out. And I'm waiting and waiting. I'm like, dude, so all my friends, all the dudes I work with took off. And I'm like, no, I think I'm good with this girl. If not, I'll just take a cab. You guys don't wait. So I'm out there, man. It had to be a half hour, dude. I'm like, I am fucked. I am getting left in the middle of stupid fucking Tennessee. And I'm waiting and waiting. And eventually she comes out. So we go back to her place. We do the thing. And I'm standing there after, and I'm like, all right, fuck, dude. You know, like that moment of clarity, and I'm like, shit. All right. And I'm looking around like, is there going to be a giant African jumps through the door and steals my kidneys, or what do I need to worry about here? And she looks at me looking around, and she goes, I'll make you a deal. Don't steal any of my shit, and I won't steal any of your shit. And I was like, deal. So good deal there. But I crash, and I wake up. Went to breakfast, everything's cool. I go back, and now I go home, and like I talk to this girl once in a while, and then I talk to her once, and this other girl gets on the phone because I had given this girl my email address, and she goes, hey, is this so-and-so? And I'm like, because like I had given the first girl I had met there, I gave her my real name, and I had also been emailing her. But so now this girl gets on, and it's like, hey, is this so-and-so? And I'm like, what the fuck? And then she hands a phone back to her friend, and she goes, he gave you a fake name, and is laughing at her. And I'm like, holy shit, these 2 girls turned out to be fucking roommates. I was freaked the fuck out. So I was like, okay, well, nothing personal, but it kind of worked out okay because that first girl I ended up talking to a couple months after that, and she calls me like crying and freaking the fuck out. And she's like, oh, this first girl's like, they always refer to each other by their stage names, which is weird to me. So like each of them, like they have their normal name, but then they'll have their stage name, just like we have our fake names, right? Like fucking Coffee, right? But she calls me and she's fucking crying, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? And she goes, Violet's dead. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, Violet, whatever the fuck her real name was. She's like, yeah, she's dead. She died in a car crash. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, that sucks. Why the fuck you call and tell me? Now I'm sad. I don't want to know these things. But Yeah, that's just the crazy shit that goes on. Oh, and then also the other hilarious story from that specific bar. Another time that we were there, all of us are outside waiting in the rental van, and we're waiting on this guy, Fat Matt. And this guy, Fat Matt, like he wasn't fat, but he looked like he should be fat. He was juiced up, and he had like that swollen abdomen situation, and he drank a shit ton of beer too. So we call him Fat Matt, pissed him off. Anyway, so we're waiting, and we're all sitting in the rental van. It's like 1 something in the morning. Everybody's fucking smoked, waiting on this guy to come out, but he's in there doing his thing. We're all sitting there, and now from across the parking lot, here comes this fat fucking black chick in this little ass skirt, and she's walking right towards the rental van. We're like, what the fuck is this? And here she comes, and she sees us in there, and she keeps on walking. We're like, what the fuck is she doing? She comes up to the side, and I'm sitting in the front in the passenger seat. And she looks in there, and she sees all the dudes in the back and looks at me and is like, tink, 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 knocks on the window. I'm like, what the fuck? And I roll down the window, and I'm like, what's going on? And she goes, what y'all doing? I said, we're waiting for our fucking friend to come out here so we can leave. And she's like, y'all just waiting? I said, yeah. Y'all just sitting here? I said, yeah. And she goes, why y'all don't get a blowjob? I was fucking dying, man. I was like, no, I don't. I'm all right. I'm good, thanks. Guys are fucking cracking the fuck up. But, I mean, that's the kind of go-getter spirit. They're like, yeah, she ain't going to be poor for long if she's still alive. But it was fucking hilarious. But anyway, yeah, that's the shit that goes on. Anyway, the thing I wanted to wrap up on, man, is some of this revolution. I'm going to take action. I'm going hot. I'm going kinetic. I've been to the range type talk that you're seeing from some of these libtards, especially these women. So I saw a post this morning that I think really kind of drove the point home, and it centered around the idea that most people really function mostly like NPCs, especially your average libtard. And the argument that this post was asserting was essentially that you trying to tell them that they are wrong, that their beliefs do not make any sense in the real world. Yeah, like that's not the way anything fucking works. Like, you know, you'll run on about like, oh, we got to help black and brown people, right? But then where do you live? You live in a gated majority white community, and maybe you have kids or grandkids, or you got friends or younger friends, or even yourself that like, dude, by you inviting in all of these people and directing all these resources to these people, you're making life harder on yourself and people like you. You're deliberately making your own life harder. But then when, you know, you say, like, you know what neighborhoods to avoid, but then you say, like, yeah, but we got to give more resources to these people. It's obvious that these are contradictory ideas. These are contradictory positions. Like, you avoid these people like the fucking plague, and rightly so. But then in the same breath, you'll say, like, yeah, but we got to give them more resources. We got to do more for them. Why? We've been doing for them for decades, and look what it gets you. It makes it fucking worse. And it's like blue screen of death. Like, oh, no, we have to keep doing it. So what this guy is saying then is that it doesn't matter how accurate you say this. It doesn't matter how clearly you paint the picture. The fuck up is not on you. You're not the one screwing this up. The problem is that they don't have like a clear world view. They don't have a mental model of the world where they could go, oh yeah, I see where this, and this always happens. And if I do this, that doesn't really coincide with reality. They don't have that model. All they have is the words. This guy describes it as just a large-scale language model, like an AI chatbot. It can talk. It can talk because it knows the language. That's all it knows. And it has Elon Musk or fucking whoever, a stack of Hebrews, to tell it that these words, this kind of language is good, this kind of language is bad. It doesn't have the ability to make moral judgments. It only knows that, like, when somebody says this kind of thing, this is how I respond. When somebody says wooden doors are not airtight, this is how I respond. That's all it knows to say. It doesn't understand the moral judgment. It doesn't understand any of these other factors. So this is kind of what you're dealing with. And it kind of circled right back to that idea that, like, some people, they have some of those conditions, like an inability to deal with the conditional hypothetical, like the running joke about, like, what if I asked you how you would feel if you had skipped breakfast this morning? but I had breakfast this morning. Yeah, you're not understanding like the hypothetical in this thing. What if this, then this, then this? They cannot do it. Oh, and there's another one of those that's also pretty funny. It's called aphantasia, which sounds like, a black stripper. Up next on the center stage, aphantasia. But no, this is an inability to conceive something. Like you talk about, think of an apple, right? Think of an apple, any kind of apple you want. It could be a red apple. It could be a green apple. It could be an underripe apple. It could be the bright red apple from Snow White. It could be like a green apple off of fucking some cartoon or something. It could be any of this stuff. But when you say, I'm thinking of an apple, right? Bing, you got this picture in your head. But these people that we're talking about, you say, think of an apple. They can't fucking do it. And that's, I think, to a reasonably intelligent person, that sounds very fucking weird. They just say apple. Yeah, I understand the idea of an apple. It's a fruit. You can eat it. Well, are you thinking of one now? Can you think of one like with the little worm sticking out of it, smiling like, hey, everybody? No, they don't really do that. They just think apple. Yeah, I hear you saying it. Yeah. Like if you asked an AI model, like, hey, can you imagine an apple? Think of it. It's like, I don't understand what you're saying. No, an apple is a fruit. Okay. If you did some kind of thing of like, hey, write me something that could be considered a poetic description of an apple. Oh, okay. Now maybe it can give you something, but it's still like, it's just reciting words. And that's how these people are. They can't understand, like Somalians, dude. Yeah, they're low IQ and criminally inclined. And if you keep giving them money, they'll just have more resources to do shady shit. They don't behave the way you behave. They don't believe the things you believe. They're going to keep doing wacky shit. But they can't think of that. Somalians, what do you think? They need our help because they're underprivileged and we have to do our part to make the world a better place. So this is kind of where you're at. They just do what they're told to do. They think what they're told to think. They have trouble conceiving of like a cause and effect type thing. Like if I do this, this is what might happen. It's like the people that move out of California. And they're like, yeah, California fucking sucks. It's fucking unlivable. I got to get the fuck out of here. And then they move, and then it's wherever they land, they start voting for the same exact shit that made California suck the way that it does now. And then they scratch their heads like, yeah, just every place is getting, like, times are really hard. Why do you think that fucking is? Think cause and effect. If this thing happens, that over there will be the result. But they cannot do it. All they think instead of is like, this is what I'm supposed to say. This is what I'm supposed to think. Yeah, but brown people are good. We have to help them. You're not fucking seeing the connection here? Brown people are good. We have to help them. So as it translates to this, shit talking, what else can you call it? That's all this is shit talking about, like, I'm going to take action. I've been to the fucking range. Da-da-da-da-da. I've seen a good bit of this the last few days, usually these middle-aged white liberal women. And, you could say, like, oh, you don't want to badmouth white people. I don't want to badmouth white people. But I hate seeing the stupidity. Like, you've dug your own grave at this point. Like, you put yourself in this position. You took what I think, honestly, is the easy way out. And you took these positions knowing that it's publicly supported and everybody's going to give you a little pat on the head and everything's going to be cool and you're going to get lots of likes and this kind of shit. But it's starting to approach that point where, like, real life is going to converge with your fucked up ideas. And I honestly think that is just like what happened to this broad in Minneapolis, where she looked right at that fucking cop. And then her dyke partner was like, take off, baby, go, or whatever the fuck she said. And this broad looks right at that cop, mashes the gas, and then, I don't know, thinks like some video game or something. He's just going to like kind of blip out of the way, and nothing's going to happen because I wasn't really trying to hurt him. I was just thinking I got to get away. Okay, well, now this is happening, though, man. And like you tried to fucking run over a dude. You deliberately drove where someone with a gun was standing. That's not a fucking smart move, no matter what you think about cops or the law or anything else. It's a fucking stupid idea, and you got fucking shot. So where this kind of attitude, where this sort of belief system, where this sort of behavior pattern converges with real life, it has like no shit consequences that, as you could see, could really fuck a person up. So where that intensifies is with this kind of shit that like your Tim Walz is talking like, holy shit, I never think I'd be at war with the federal government, but I'm calling on people to rise up and I'm calling for a revolution. And they'll try to couch this shit in terms of like, oh, well, I'm just speaking metaphorically. And, like I'm cutting the throat of whiteness. Like, oh, I'm not actually saying cut anyone's throat. I'm just saying, motherfucker, if you use the phrase cut the throat of, it doesn't matter what you say after that. We're going to cut the throat of poverty. All right? It's like you're talking to a guy in a wheelchair and you're talking about, I think this year we're really going to get a leg up on the competition if we can get out here and get a running start. So what do you think we roll out to lunch later? Like, dude, just the phrasing, man. It draws certain images and you can't, like if you were making these jokes in front of a fucking guy in a wheelchair, people would be like, dude, that's fucked up. Don't do that. You're like, what? I'm just saying things people always say. I'm using it like metaphorically. I'm not really drawing reference to the fact that he doesn't actually have legs. I never said anything about that. Motherfucker, you know what you said. You know what you're fucking saying. It's the same thing with fucking Tim Walz. And a lot of these assholes that are saying this shit, you're saying things that are drawing up specific imagery and giving kind of implied direction that you need to get out here and go kinetic, that these people are not some kind of lawful authority, that you can kind of do whatever you want and this kind of thing. And even if that's true, this talk about like, well, see, he can't be reaching into her car. You see, that's that's like an amendment violation stuff. Motherfucker, he's got a gun. Like, let's dispense. Like, let's just be reasonable and dispense then with like the legal particulars. Let's just look at the will get you dead fucking factors. And the number one factor is that guy's got a gun. You do not. So if that motherfucker, like if I get pulled over and a guy wants to reach in the car, like my first thought is I need to de-escalate. I need to reassure this motherfucker. He needs to feel calm and casual and not worried at all that I'm going to do fucking something sketchy. If I start thinking like, is this guy going to rob me? Is this guy deliberately pulling over so he could fuck me up? Well, this is a different conversation. But like your typical cop thing, I want this guy to be fucking calm. That's all I want. He has a gun. I do not. If it's not a cop, it's another guy with a gun. I want him to be calm. I want him to not see me as a threat. I want him to see me as someone that doesn't have anything he wants. I want to just get out of this. That's all I fucking want. These fucks are not thinking in that cause and effect way. They're out here talking this shit about like, I'm at the range. I'm fucking training. I'm coming for you. Motherfucker, you need to think this through. Because I know a lot of cats on our side of the fence are dudes that, one, have been shooting, two, have been in fights, three, we're out here doing shit. I got sent to war to fuck up people that never actually did anything to me. And I had an all right time. I mean, a lot of dudes I respected. I still put the wood to them, but I can respect them at least. Even guys I rolled up, they're giving me that side eye like, you motherfucker. I'm like, yeah, man, I understand, dude. I can see you don't like me. That's okay. You don't have to. I don't really like you that much either, but, I'm not going to do you dirty. And if we're ever, in trading places here, I'll hope you treat me with the same respect. And 9 times out of 10, I'd get like, yeah, all right. But these motherfuckers aren't appreciating that. Like, you were on your couch 2 weeks ago, and now you think you got a day or two at the range and you're going to fuck people up? So real quick then, I wanted to go over maybe like 2 or 3 little rookie move mistakes. One, that you should not make, and two, that these people are going to be more than inclined to make. And what gets me concerned about shit like this is they will do things that a professional would not do. Yeah, they'll do things a professional would not do, but it's important to remember that you're not going against a professional, you're going against a dangerous amateur. So that's kind of the rub, is like somebody comes in, like you set yourself up in a spot, you want to try to set up, you want to try to spend your time in places where you're not going to get attacked, right? So if it's a situation where, like, dude, if somebody comes in here, they're going to see that there's no way out from here. They're not going to try to hit me here. This is a safe spot. Some dumb fuck amateur, they might very well do something like that. And that's where these dingbats come in. So kind of the concern here is that, one of these idiots does something and you're just kind of caught in the crossfire. So I think top of the list has got to be that, like, you are always a target, even if it's just someone who's next to you that's a target. So if somebody gets in, you're at some kind of a thing, and maybe you're like, I was just there to watch, or I was just at a restaurant up the block or some shit, and I was just walking back to the car. If you're in vicinity of something that's going on that one of these people freaks the fuck out at and they start shooting, you get stuck in the fucking crossfire even if they're not shooting at you. So like a decent shooter, you're not trying to, like, you're not just shooting indiscriminately. Like that's how, that's how the shit goes off the rails. And like, look, dude, innocent people got hurt here. Something went through a building over there, hit somebody. It's having fucking lunch or something. Like no professional wants to do that. But again, the world's not full of professionals. It's full of dangerous amateurs. So anytime you see something that's like there's some kind of friction going on, and this should be, common sense, that like even if there's cops there or you're not obviously not involved in the situation, whatever's going on, this is time to fucking roll out. Time to fucking roll out. Because if a dangerous amateur does something, there's a very good chance that they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and two, you get stuck in the middle of it. And you don't want that. So number one, roll the fuck out. Number two, amateur night mistakes is like having no kind of fucking get out of this type plan. Like rolling into a thing and like, what was your fucking plan here? Like, no, their only real plan is like actions on. I'm going to go, whatever it is they do, dude, throw a Molotov through that window, hit that guy with a fucking skateboard, but they have no fucking actions after that. They have no plan for like, how do I get in here in one piece? How do I get out of here in one piece? All they have is I'm right here and I'm going to fucking swing. How that becomes dangerous for you is because if you've got a professional, your plan consists of how am I getting in here? I'm going to do the thing I'm going to do. How will I know when it's time to go? Whether it's, hey, time is up or the target has escaped or I accomplished what I needed to accomplish and now I need to get the fuck out of here. And how am I getting out of here? Am I shoving some shit down my pants and jumping off the roof? Am I running through the woods? Am I escaping on a bicycle? Am I jumping in a car? How am I fucking doing this? A professional will have an actual plan all the way up to here's the mechanism by which I disappear into the fucking woodwork. These people don't have that kind of plan. And why that's dangerous is if you think back, if you look at different old school models of like Soviet anti-aircraft guns, they had a lot of these models where, like, if you look at these different versions from different places, they'd have wheels on them where you could move them around to different places, or maybe they're self-driving and you can move to different places. The Soviet models were designed so that you would go there and they would fucking stay there. And the logic behind that, whether you agree with the logic or not, but the logic behind it was that we're going to put this thing here and you're not going fucking nowhere. Like, you're not fucking moving. You're not retreating. You're not relocating. You're attached to this fucking thing. You're going to stay here and you're going to fight it the fuck out. So knowing that, motherfuckers would fight harder because you can't run. You can't escape. You got to stay here and slug it out or you're fucking dead. And it's the same thing with these idiots. Once they figure out, they're like, holy shit, I didn't really have a plan to get out of here. And they do this thing like you saw with like your Kyle Rittenhouse where there's a gaggle of them and they're just swarming and beating on people. But once, if they go really fucking hard, they go really wrong, and they come from the day at the range, and now they want to get it on, they're going to figure out that, like, holy shit, I don't have a way out of here. And they might fight like a motherfucker. Like, they might summon everything they've got because, like, dude, I'm going to either fucking fight my way out of this or I'm going to die. You don't want to be stuck. Like, you don't want to have one of these motherfuckers cornered like this. You don't know what the fuck they're going to do. So, again, like, this is something like if one of these fuckers kicks off, like, you do want to try to disengage. And I'll tell you something about disengaging, dude. This is a professional move. Like, we didn't ever go out looking to get, like, just waiting for a fight, like, just trying to get engaged. You go out to pick one fight in one place at one time. If you can get that fight, then good, fight that fight. If somebody surprises you, or it's some place you didn't plan on being, or it's a place it's not to your advantage, or it's with a number of people, like, I don't know how many motherfuckers are over there. Fuck this, I'm leaving, dude. And we would have specific methods for, like, getting the fuck out of here. Like, if you watch that movie Heat, that's a really good example. He's going to shoot, I'm going to run. I'm going to shoot, he's going to run. And we're bounding back and getting the fuck out of Dodge, moving cover to cover. So in this sense, dude, I think it's important not to underestimate, again, the dangerous amateur, because if you get one of these motherfuckers cornered, there's no telling what kind of wazoo shit they might pull out. Number 3, I guess, to wrap it up, I guess I would say is the endurance factor. And anybody that's been in any kind of a fucking halfway prolonged engagement or any kind of a fight, like, you'll know what I'm talking about, man. That first couple of seconds everybody's full of fucking fire, man. But after endurance becomes a factor, that might be 30 seconds to a minute, man. I would legit think of like, dude, if shit gets hectic, I need to keep my head down and try to break contact for like a minute. If it's you that's cornered, this kind of timeline, like the longer this stretches on, now it starts to shift in your advantage because they're going to start losing steam. And they're either going to fuck off or they're going to start figuring out that like, holy shit, I'm in over my head. I'm really doing it and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. That's going to set in and yeah, they might do some wazoo shit. But as that wears on, like all that piss and vinegar and fire is going to leak out of them. And they're going to be like, oh shit. Now you can make your move. And whether your move is to just escape, which, again, if you didn't pick this fight, you shouldn't be fighting this fight. Get the fuck out of Dodge. But if it's like, I got to fight through these motherfuckers, like, you know, I don't know, a fucking gun show or Young Republicans convention if you're so inclined, or, you know, an American Renaissance convention, you're just going to go watch some very academic-minded gentlemen lay out some ideas. And one of these fucks rolls in and is like, oh, you're going to fucking pay today for what you did to my Somalian friends. And like, there they go. They're going fucking nuts. You hide out for a couple minutes. Dude, they're not going to have but a minute or so in them before they start going to pieces. And like, oh shit, I might be in over my head. Now you can make your move. Now you can fucking start beating them down and getting the fuck out of there. So I think that's a good place to leave it, man. I don't want to dip too far into the idea of like running gunfights, and right now we don't have any real cause to start looking at that. But it's not something that's completely off the table. And honestly, the number of people saying like, oh, that's not really a concern right now, just the fact that it's being discussed says to me that it is at least something of a concern. So in any case, until next time, leave this shit where somebody could find it, because the world needs more people like us. And until we meet again, keep your eyes on the horizon and keep your neck out of the noose. I have been Coffee. These are my takes.